Okay, so we're going to go over a few tips to hopefully help people out. I've had a lot of people ask about some of these areas, so I figured I'm going to get going on my tips series. So this will be part one. And for the first one, we're going to talk about controls because a lot of people say Starfield's controls are pretty bad. So what you want to do is you want to come into the menu and you want to come into settings and you want to come down to bindings. This is where you'll have the ability to change the different button layout. I am on Xbox, so if you are on PC, you can still come in here, obviously check it out. You're just not going to see the same kind of buttons layouts. But for me, most of the games I use the throw grenade button is usually my left bumper, so I did have to switch it to that. Also, another one, right stick. You know, it's also like crouching. It's called sneaking in Bethesda's games. So you can hit the right stick and crouch down and sneak around. So those are a couple that I definitely did change. I don't even remember what the default settings were, but you can definitely get in here, mix it around. It's very hard for me to recommend how you should lay out your controller because it's really going to be based on however your feel is. But don't be afraid to get in here and kind of change up some of those things to make the game feel better and more comfortable to you. Another thing I've had a lot of people talk about over the past couple of days is how does weapon swapping work? So really what you want to do is how Bethesda has done it is tied to the D-pad on the console. But when looking at your different settings, if you scroll down, it's going to be these quick keys, up, down, left, right. That's how it is on console. I'm sure PC has a little bit different setting. Figure out what that is for you, and that is basically your weapon swapping. And what that does is when you're in the open world, you can basically just hit any one of those buttons and it will bring up, basically I call it the Holy Cross, but it's the favorites cross, I guess. And really you can save weapons here, and you can even save some med packs or other kinds of resources that you want to use in combat. So this is really helpful, and you can see I've loaded out every slot here. And how you want to save things to that cross is you want to come to your inventory, and really any spot that you have something you want to save there, like I don't know, weapons, that would be a pretty good one. And basically what you can do is down at the bottom right there, you can see favorite. You can hit Y for me at least. You hit Y and it brings up the cross, and then you can select the spot you want to save it to, and you can save it to that spot. Boom. And then I'll hit the button, and then you can see right there, boom, Assassin's Calibrated Kraken, and now it is my weapon of choice. So that's kind of how that works. You need to go into your inventory, find whatever you want to save as a favorite to your favorites cross, and then there you go. Now, another thing I've kind of done is I actually have mapped one of those, D-pad buttons, I guess you would call them, for console to my normal using weapon swapping button, because that's the one I naturally hit, and that is how I do it. So I just hit it, bring it up, and then I can actually switch to it. Now this is not a pause screen, but time does slow down, so if you are in combat, it does slow down quite a bit. Just remember that you are still in combat. So here's another little tip. Here using the cutter, you can not charge it up, and it takes a little bit of time there to extract whatever resource you are going to extract. But a tip that I found is if you charge it up, and you can see the kind of dashes there that are moving towards the middle of the screen as you hold down like your ADS button or your attack 2 button, as Bethesda calls it in the settings, and it is all the way into the center. You can then hold it down and it goes a lot faster as you try to extract those resources. So a lot better, especially when you get into some of those mines and different things like that. It will make your job a lot easier, go a lot faster on extracting those resources. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Another tip I got for you is find all the vendors that you can. This Trade Authority vendor right here by the landing pad in New Atlantis will have the ability for you to sell quite a bit of things. You can sell just about everything you can here. And one thing I would highly recommend watching out is the vendor credits up at the top right. So the more vendors that you know about, the more stuff that you can sell, and that will be hugely helpful. There's also the Jemison Mercantile. So here the Jemison Mercantile, and when you come inside, you are looking for this lady with the short hair, and she will also have the ability to sell you stuff. You can see her vendor credits are a little bit different. So there you go. That will help out with knowing where to sell some things. The more vendors you know about, the more it'll help you out. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't know about is over in the residential district, there are a lot of different vendors. So there's quite a bit of different vendors over there. So they all have their different currencies. They're separate from the Trade Authority and even Jemison Mercantile. But when you come out of the New Atlantis Transit system, basically you're gonna have chunks right in front of you. So you can just go over to chunks and you can basically buy your food and stuff in there. You can sell food and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. You can talk to the Chunks employee. So you can see the vendor credits a little bit different here at Chunks, but it's still the same concept. And here you can buy or sell things. So make sure you are on the right selector if you do want to buy or sell things. The other thing that you do have over here is you do have Centurion Arsenal. So that will be helpful for those that need to sell weapons or get ammo. Also, there will be CJ's. This is kind of like a little food and bandage, kind of like a CVS or Walgreens type store. There you go. Little corner store for you. So yeah, you can see he has quite a bit of stuff. You can also sell things here as well. You are also going to have the EIT Clothers. I guess that's the EIT Clothers. And in here, basically you can sell different kind of clothing items or whatnot. So basically he's only going to have apparel, but if you do need to kind of get in here and maybe buy some different things, or if you want to come sell some different apparel, you can do that. And then there's also Reliant Medical. This is going to have a lot of your medical type stuff, right? Your chems and med packs and all that kind of stuff. But you want to come into this door here and you want to come talk to this guy, Dr. Alexi, and he's going to have a lot of aid stuff. So yeah, find all the vendors that you can and sell them the things that they will buy, and then save the Trade Authority kiosk for your miscellaneous items, because not all the other vendors take your miscellaneous items. And so you don't want to sell off all your weapons, your packs, your helmets to the Trade Authority kiosk, and then you can't get rid of your miscellaneous items. Another tip to kind of be mindful of is if you do need more Trade Authority kind of kiosks and whatnot, well, all the ones in the different cities, they all have their own different credits, okay? So the one here in New Atlantis, I'll sell this power pack here, and you can see the vendor credits go down to 4,054. But as you come to the Kill City Trade Authority kiosk, you can see that the vendor credits are 874. So I've actually offloaded quite a bit of stuff here, and just wanted to demonstrate that they do have their own and separate credits. As far as getting rid of contraband, so we do know we get scanned when we get into some of the more settled systems. And one of the things that you can do to actually get rid of contraband, you know, I know nobody wants to kind of just leave around credits or not take the loot and get something out of it, just because a lot of it is high value. One of the things you can do is you can go to the Wolf system, and from there you can actually go to a place called the Den. This is where they actually do take contraband. And once inside, there will be a Trade Authority person running the booth around to the left. You can talk to him and you can sell your contraband. Your contraband is going to be marked by a gold indicator, so be careful when you are actually going through some of the systems to get to the Wolf system, as if they do scan you, you will incur that fine. So if you are trying to avoid those fines, that is the way you want to do it. The last tip I kind of have for you is keep an eye on the miscellaneous missions that you pick up, and also the ones that you get from activities, as many of these are kind of tutorials and different things like that. And you also just randomly pick them up as you are passing by and overhearing conversations in the cities or whatnot. And sometimes you'll even get them just flying through systems. So be mindful of what you get here. Even the first time you kind of talk to Constellation, you get some things that you didn't know you had. And one, for example, was when you first meet Vasco, he actually gives you a quick little activity that brings you to the cargo hold. I had no idea how to access my cargo hold until I actually saw that he did drop me an activity that brought me to the cargo hold panel. So I didn't even know how to access that until I was just kind of looking around at some of the different things. And he had dropped me an activity that kind of showed me where my cargo hold and how to access my cargo hold was. So there you go. Hopefully those are some pretty good tips that will help you out in your journeys. I do have some more coming. Just don't want to make the videos too long. Alrighty, take care.